What's going on, guys? KWE here, and today we're going to be talking about the time I met John Morrison, got his autograph at a Steel City Con. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So it was just any normal day, I woke up pretty early because I think we had to be at Steel City Con at like 8 o'clock in the morning or something like that. I don't know what time the doors open, but we wanted to be there early to, get in there, get looking at stuff, and possibly buy things. I remember at the time my uncle took me. I don't remember how old I was, but I was really excited because I knew I was going to be meeting John Morrison. And he really wasn't one of my favorites at the time, but take it or leave it, he was one of the superstars there, so, had to get his signature, had to meet him. I think it would have been awesome. And plus, I really liked his feud with, The Miz, and him tag teaming with The Miz, and back whenever he was in ECW, so that was a lot of fun, too. So like I said, he picked me up, we ended up going, I think we stopped at McDonald's or Sheetz or something and just grabbed a bite to eat for breakfast. Can't really recall what I had. Honestly, all I remember is that we went through a drive-thru and then we ate on the way, so that was a lot of fun. We got there pretty early, don't know the exact time, but as soon as we got there, man, there was just a bunch of people. I think it was $30 admission to get in, so not too bad. We went there, and I just remember there was just one concession stand with all these old Jakks figures, loose too, and they were only $3-4 a pop. I cannot even confirm all of the figures that I bought, but I know this was one of the figures that was in there, and this was if you guys remember WWE Steve-O 07 on YouTube, he used this figure, and just the fact that I got my hands on it was one of the coolest things. I also remember getting a Deluxe Aggression Yoshi. Oh, I'm sorry. Jimmy Wang Yang. Me and my uncle called him Yoshi. But Jimmy Wang Yang figure. I got a Deluxe Aggression Edge, a Deluxe Aggression John Cena, Deluxe Aggression Daivari, a bunch of cool Jakks figures. And I do remember something really funny. There was a Deluxe Aggression Purple Rey Mysterio from his match with Eddie Guerrero, right? And it was sitting there, and I was about to grab it, and someone literally cut me off. Some old lady cut me off and grabbed that Rey Mysterio. And I looked at her and I said, "Excuse me, dear, I was about to grab that." She said, "Well, I had my hands on it first." So I was young back then, so I didn't really say anything. I just kind of backed away. Thank the Lord. She put that Rey Mysterio back down, and as soon as she did, I snatched that bad boy up. So I got that Rey Mysterio, and that was really awesome. Like I said, a bunch of other old Jakks figures. Mattel wasn't really a big thing back then, but they were kind of expensive. They were already in the packaging. They were $30-40 for a Mattel figure, so I wasn't having that. So we kept walking around. There's a bunch of different vendors selling figures and WWE t-shirts and a bunch of cool stuff. I remember there was a stand where they were selling a bunch of WWE cards, and I think I snagged a couple of those. They were a few bucks a pop. I think I got a Rey Mysterio one, a Luke Harper one. There's someone else, I can't really remember. Might have been John Cena or Randy Orton. So I picked up a couple of those, and then finally it was about that time to get in line and meet John Morrison. So it was a pretty steep line. I was all the way in the back, just kind of anticipating, getting all anxious, waiting to meet John Morrison. And of course, I was a kid, so as an adult, it would have been easier to have a conversation with him, but since I was young, I didn't know what to say, I was still just kind of getting back into wrestling. So I'm kind of just waiting for my turn, and my dumb ass, I really should have done what the person in front of me did. They literally pulled out their phone and had John Morrison do a voice memo, a voice message onto their phone. So he was like, "Hey, it's John Morrison, blah, blah, blah." I should have done that, but I just wasn't thinking. I probably didn't even have a phone back then or an iPod or anything, so that's probably why. But I was next in line, and I just remember I went up to him, and I was like, "It's so cool to meet you, John." And he was like, "Yeah, you too, blah, blah, blah." And then we ended up snapping this picture. And this is the KWE logo that I did back then. So this is young Coda back then. That's just so cool to even think about. Just getting a picture with John Morrison plus his autograph. Badass right there. And I asked him, I said, "John," "when are you coming back to WWE?" And he said, 2 years. Well, that didn't happen. And I got my hopes up because I don't think he returned until 6-7 years later after that. Whenever he returned in I don't even know what it was, 2017 or something. I really can't recall. And then they underutilized him again. With that being said, he said that he'd return in 2 years, and I asked him, because I was curious, I didn't know how he specifically did his finisher, the Starship Pain. And I said, how do you do that move? And he said, it's simple. You basically get up on the top rope and you do a backflip. And as you're doing the backflip, you just do a twist. You do a 180 or a 360 twist, 180 twist, whatever. You go up, do a backflip, twist, boom, land on your opponent. That same night, I had a dream of him like telling me how he did it and then literally going into the ring and doing it on an opponent. So that was really cool. I can't really recall what else we really talked about since it was so long ago, but it was mostly just about, like, I told him that he was in my company, KWE, and that he was a former Intercontinental Champion, and he laughed and he told me, you got to make sure I win that KWE championship. And I was like, don't worry, John, I will. And he has, so that's really awesome. But it was a really cool experience to be able to meet John as a kid. He was super chill dude, really kind, humble, good-hearted, like any other superstar should be. And I just remember after meeting him, I think me and my uncle just walked around the Still City Con again, just looking for other vendors or action figures I could buy. I don't remember if I bought any more, but like I said, I came home with a big pile of Deluxe Aggression Jax figures, plus all them WWE cards, so that was a lot of fun. Maybe for a future video, I will show you guys the WWE cards, but I know the story wasn't that great. I couldn't really remember too much, but I hope you guys still enjoyed watching and listening and maybe experiencing. Comment below what superstars you guys met. So if you guys watched this whole video, leave a comment below what WWE superstars you guys have met, got their autograph, whatever. Coming soon, KWE versus Teddy in the full match. Hope you guys are looking forward to that. If you like this video, give a like, comment, and subscribe.